how much bud development we have, you know, day 23, this is pretty incredible. And again, this is just a side branch, not even directly under the light. These ones are even hardier, these tops, right? But you can just see the development is so much faster when you're doing that far red treatment. And that means if you're developing faster, if you're setting buds faster, you're getting through stack or Gen 1 faster. So you've got to switch to bulk faster. All right, guys, welcome to Grow Room Weekly. This is a series we're gonna start here on YouTube, basically looking at the behind the scenes of what it's like to be in Faven's R&D facility here in Sacramento, California. We're gonna start with room 1 and 2 today. Cool thing about those rooms is they're identical, both 28 lights each. One is full spectrum LED and one is HPS. We're gonna look at how under canopy applies to both. So follow along and let's get into it. All right, so room 1, it's day 44 in here. This is our first full flip in here. We've got full spectrum LEDs up top, running the Faven chromas underneath. This is the room that's got 5 minutes of far red on before lights on. So everything else has been end of day treatment. This is beginning of day treatment. And this is the room that we really did not see that far red impact. And we've added no far red during the day, and there's very little coming from these top lights. So we've added none during the day. It's only getting that 5 minutes of far red before lights on. And this run has been completely different than compared to the runs with far red at end of day, where we've seen that faster growth, faster ripening. It's really not happening in this room. Really trying to manage these environments right now. New room, that's what Alex is doing right now. He's not scrolling Instagram. Maybe he is, I'm not sure. But we're trying to get these rooms under control. It is our first flip in here and we're really trying to nail it. It was not a good start. This is one of those runs where we've been kind of fighting the entire time, and we're less than 3 weeks to go, and we feel like we're closer than we were. So it's been a good job on the team to like stay in here and make sure we don't just lose the run completely. Little swampy feeling in here, but our grow link sensors are reading fine, so we're gonna make a few adjustments just to make sure we're good. But yeah, this room's going good. You got any? How you feeling about this room?
It has been a struggle.
Yes, very much.
When this room flipped over, like we're still in the middle of taking over the facility and getting everything swapped. So this is our first run with the LEDs in this room. We had a little bit of hard time in the veg.
Yeah, this was a really big struggle. Our veg guy was out on paternity leave. So the plants that came in actually were not great either. So
the transfer was hard into the room and like the plants acclimating to the environment. The first week and a half, 2 weeks, they were very unhappy just being alive in here. This new harvest that we're starting in room 3, which is all LED, and room 4, we increased the temperature a little bit more earlier on and had the humidity also a little bit higher than what it started at in here, and the plants look significantly more comfortable.
Yeah.
But this had a little bit of a hard time originally. When we're doing these new rooms with far red and doing all the trials, we're seeing that these rooms are maturing significantly quicker. Bud set, we're having like full hair push at day 8, kind of.
Yeah.
Whereas this was closer to day 11. Stock seemed a little bit weaker. Plant health overall seemed like weaker. And I just don't think it was just from the environment. I think the far red definitely does something to the physiology of the plant. I can't like definitively put my finger on what it is. This is following the typical 63-day schedule instead of the 56 that we're normally seeing. We started bulking this on day 23 because that's when it kind of stopped stretching. And they were getting hit with a decent amount of light intensity too from the top lights. So they were still just pushing and stretching. At every checkpoint that follows the typical 63-day schedule, we kind of are seeing on these plants.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else when we're doing the 5 minutes of far red at the end of the day is following that 53 to 56 day schedule. Leaf health is pretty poor, honestly, but the bud health is like really nice. It's really frosty, especially, it's hard to tell. These aisles are really tight, so it's hard to squeeze in, especially with cameras. But the back of the rows look significantly better, and so do the middles.
When things go horribly wrong, if you can still pull it out, that's where you really cut your teeth as a cultivator. And this is one of those rooms where it's nice to have a baseline in here. We're gonna be really excited to get the second flip in here and do it better for the next run.
few of the calls I've had this week, we've been talking about the percentage of far red.
Yeah.
We've been running it at 100% far red from the rip, like
which is 15 watts.
Yeah.
It's only 15 watts. So 15 watts of far red per chroma at 100%.
So there's the red spectrum in the chroma, and then there's the independent far red. We've been running the independent far red for 5 minutes at the end of day at 100% intensity.
A lot of people are doing between 5 and 15 minutes far red after lights off. You're probably safe within that amount. I don't think you would need to go any farther, but we'll start playing with duration. But right now, 5 minutes is all we need to trigger that response. Just make sure you do it at end of day, because beginning of day, this room, gonna chop at day 60, 63. It totally jacked up our harvest schedule, our clone schedule. It jacked everything up, and it's gonna create a big pinch point for us when we harvest this, because we have the room next door coming down a few weeks later. So we're gonna have to move pretty quickly on this stuff, but we had to do the trial. We're happy to do the trial for you.
Dude, right here, like this one.
That's a fatty.
This one.
Yeah.
All these tops are just going fucking
Leaf health
stupid.
is super, super poor in here, but bud quality is through the roof. So like,
It's frosty as fuck, dude.
leaf health can indicate a lot of changes you need to make, but likely once you make that change, you'll still like lose leaf health. So once you start to lose that leaf health, you're really looking at the bud quality to determine the adjustments from there. And like we made the adjustments, bud quality improved, and so that was the adjustment we made. We didn't keep tweaking. You're never gonna get back a leaf that's like dead, you know, like this. Like that's not gonna get better. It's not gonna go green again, right? So when you have this happen, just make small adjustments, try to figure it out, and likely you're gonna figure it out for the next run. Don't panic if you're trying something new. And if it's chroma and far red, hit us up. We'll walk you through it all day. We love doing that stuff. It's really Alex, it's not me. And Dylan, it's not me.
I'm unwilling to help anyone. Secrets. We keep all the secrets.
Keep all the secrets. So cancel the podcast studio?
Bro, where are we gonna store all the rest of this cocoa and things? It's an extra storage facility, dog. Look how
This is so
fucking
dang.
frosty this is.
Yeah, I know, it looks great.
Like in the back is stupid.
It looks great.
The leaf health looks terrible.
Well, I know, I just did a up close with one of these, and I'm like, wow, this looks like shit.
This is fried.
Yeah. So you gotta be careful when you do have an event like this, not to take every bad leaf off, because if you do that, likely you're gonna go into the good leaves, right? So we're not supposed to have favorite rooms, but I think every grower has a favorite room. Mine's the HPS room here. That's no secret. It's day 23. We've got chromas at 100%. They're about 60% red right now. We're gonna increase the red amount, and we're gonna turn on the far red channel because stretching is over, and we're gonna see if there's any negative correlation to adding far red during lights on. We're still keeping our end of day treatment at 5 minutes, but adding it during lights on after stretch has ended. We know that far red causes a shade response within all plants. So what that does is it creates a very stretchy plant. If you go back to our YouTube video on trial number 1, we documented how much taller the plants were that received far red all day and a treatment at night. That really led to a decrease in yield because it was a stretchier plant. So now we feel comfortable, after kind of working back from that initial trial we dubbed the overdose, we feel comfortable giving them far red from the chroma units after stretches is over, right? These plants aren't gonna add any more height. They're just going into bud production right now. And obviously, HPS has a ton of far red in it. So if you've been growing with HPS your whole life, then you know you're already giving them far red and our plants are fine, right? So likely this is totally fine to be able to add it in after stretch is over. It's day 23, we're turning it on today just to be careful. But this room was done with stretching around day 18. So come on in. We've got Blue Zushi on table 1. We've got Versace, table 2. We've got this Baccio, which is not Baccio. It's a candy. It's a runts. It's a whatever. But it's fun to mess with because we know a lot of you are growing a lot of candy, runts type stuff. So this is a good one for us to reference when we do get those questions of like how to run it with a candy. So this is our guy right here. And then final table, this one's super unique genetic. The cross between tables 1 and 2, this is a cross between Blue Zushi and Versace. you know, it's day 23 in here, and I kind of want to show, I'm gonna push these aside, and I just want to show the effects of far red and how much bud development we have. You know, day 23, this is pretty incredible. And again, this is just a side branch, not even directly under the light. These ones are even hardier, these tops, right? But you can just see the development is so much faster when you're doing that far red treatment. And that means if you're developing faster, if you're setting buds faster, you're getting through stack or Gen 1 faster. So you've got to switch to bulk faster. So you're getting into bulking, and you've got to be on that switch closer to day like 17, 18 rather than like 21 to 23. We're seeing a few days removed there. Then we get into bulk, and we're trying to hold bulk for as long as we can, right? Because that's where you're putting on your size. But because you're speeding up the entire flower process, you're going and harvesting probably 7 to 10 days earlier, you need to make sure you switch to ripening to make sure you get that extra quality at the end, right? And really gear that plant towards the quality it's trying to put on for those last 10 days. So that's what we've done. We've shortened our stack, right? Our Gen 1, because the plants are telling us they're done stretching around day 17 or 18. We're switching to bulk. We're trying to maintain 3.5 to 4 weeks of bulk and then go for like 10 days of ripening. That seems to be working out. We're very happy with the smokability. We're very happy with the quality of the product coming out. This is a new facility. We don't have a ton of baseline for what we should be getting out of these rooms, but grams per square foot has been really, really good. We can tighten the screws to make sure we get that a little higher and maintain our quality. So that's what we're seeing. If you're HPS, room 2 is the one for you. Day 23 in here. We'll check back in next week, but this is absolutely flying. Every genetic in here looks great. Hopefully we break some more records.